Hello there. If you're still exporting stems one by one in Cubase, you are doing it the old-fashioned, really slow way, and I'm going to show you a much more efficient batch processing method that will potentially save you an awful lot of time. My name's Andrew and I am a professional media composer. I write for production music libraries including Warner Chappell, BMG, Universal and a host of other strange and weird and wonderful libraries. I've had my music placed on primetime BBC, CNN and all sorts of strange American sitcoms and reality shows. So I do export stems quite frequently, and up until fairly recently I was doing what I would call the old way, which I will show you now, which does work perfectly well, which is to file export, go to audio mix down, and keep this little tab up here on single, and I would literally just solo each of my stems that I needed doing along here, and just go export audio and do it like that. And actually there's nothing wrong with that. It works really well. What changed my mind is that it came to my notice, luckily through me finding the mistake, but it came to my notice that actually recording not in real time can occasionally be not particularly accurate when you are using sample libraries, leading to sort of the odd pop and click and odd things like this. So I decided that from now on I was going to be doing real-time exports for anything that was going to leave my studio, which is great, but it means that you are literally sitting through the track, you know. Well, how many stems have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times. It's a 2-minute track or something. You're looking at 10 or 15 minutes or so, just sitting literally doing nothing. So I decided to investigate the multiple batch method, which I'm going to show you now. And I had a few questions and a few confusions about it, and hopefully it will clear up those questions and confusions for you if you haven't got into this yet. So the important thing was I'm going for real-time export is the main thing. So the thing just plays through and it guarantees pretty much that I'm going to get an accurate bounce. So first things first, let's just go back a little bit and look at how we do this. The first thing to do when you're doing stems is to make sure that your region is where you want it to be, that you've got it pretty tight up to the front end here. As you can see, this starts after literally a fraction of a second, and then at the end we are importantly just making sure that we've got the reverb tail included, plus a little bit extra, so we'd come out somewhere about there. So you can't just look at that, you need to listen to it at a reasonable volume as well, so you can hear where the reverb tail actually dies to silence. Okay, so just a little bit about routing to make this work. To do this method you have to, and I didn't always do this because I work quite quickly, often with fairly simple tracks, but I didn't always do this. I didn't always send each of my stems to a group previously, and that didn't sort of matter too much. This is a lot more efficient. I've started doing this recently more, even for small tracks, I should say. Bigger tracks I would have grouped, but small tracks like this. Everything I now send to group. So I've got a keys group up here with a music box and noir, that noir 2, that's a piano. Is going to the keys group down here, percussion, what we've got, drum kit and shakers going to a percussion group, strings, shorts, it's quite helpful to separate them out to this group here, strings long down here, and guitars. So what that basically means, if you're not sure, is that when I do strings short like this, for example, everything that is short just goes from here through this stem or through this group, and then it goes to the stereo out that way. Okay, so we've got my groups, they're all going to my stereo out. Do I need to go into how you arrange that? It's really easy actually, in Cubase particularly. If you want to send a group of instruments to a group channel like this, you just highlight them all, add track, and group tracks to selected tracks, and it just does it. It sets it up for you. Let me just show you also. You can do that in the mixer window as well, which is on a different screen at the moment. Let me just move that. So in the mixer, you can see it in routing here. You can change where the routing goes for each of them. So this one down here, can't see it. This is Spiccato 3. This is a really old track. I was using Albion Spiccato on its own in those days, but this is Albion Spiccato 3 routing. And you can see it's going to the string short bus here, string short. I could put it to any of them, but I've put it to strings short. So you can do it manually like that, or you can get Cubase to do it for you by right-clicking and doing more in one go. Okay. Okay. So how do we go about doing stems then? Once you've got things arranged like this, really straightforward. We go to File, Export, Audio, Mix down. Then, this is where the magic happens. We change from single to multiple. And this is where I started to get a little confused when I changed to doing this, because I started by highlighting these one at a time. So these are my group channels here to get my stems, and leaving the stereo out ticked as well, because I didn't realize, I think, that everything you tick here, it will play in, or it will print. You need to undo that unless you desperately want a stereo out as well. So you've got everything unticked, and then we're going to go through each of the group channels, so strings short, strings long, keys, percussion and guitars, each in turn, and set it up and put it into the export queue. Now, unbelievably, to those of you who are more computer savvy than I am, I read an article on how to do this or something and couldn't find the export queue here. And it's just a little thing like that you have to open. I know that seems painfully obvious to you now, but I did spend 5 minutes trying to work that out. You can open and close that, isn't it wonderful? And then we need to go down what we've got here. There's a vital one here. This is really, really important. So we've got the track name up here. And what is a bit of a pain is that if we do the strings short, first of all, group string short. Now, technically speaking, I don't really want to name that. It's too complicated. I want it to be Planting Out, which was the title of the track. It was supposed to be a little gardening reality show track thing. I don't really want 0024 and group in there. I want strings short is absolutely fine, but I can't find a way of getting rid of that. That is how it names it, and I think you have to live with it and rename it afterwards, which is a pain in the butt. If you do it on single, however, if you wanted to do Planting Out strings, oh look, how lovely. Oh, well, it hasn't actually told me it's doing it there in the preview, but it will just do that. It will call it Planting Out strings, which is really, really good. So that's a bit of a pain, but it does, you just have to go in it and just delete the middle bit if you want to do that. File type. Now, assuming you're going to send this off for mastering, a majority I get asked for are WAV files. Generally 4824, occasionally AIFF. Just make sure that you are not sending MPEGs, MP3s for mastering. That won't work. So I'm going to change that to WAV 4824. Stay as interleaved here. And this is the vital bit here. So, effects. If I leave it on inserts and strip, the whole balance and the level of everything when the stems go out will be wrong. Now, this is the bit that really, really confused me, because it's not going through your, it's just literally going through the insert and the strips. It's just going through actually what you've got here. It's not going to go through your stereo out. So if you've made any adjustments to, oh, my camera's just died, never mind. If you've made any adjustments to the volume on the master bus, or you've got anything on the master bus, that won't be heard if you just leave this on inserts and strip, and it will make for me, that's not what I want. There are some other options here as well. I'm not entirely sure what that does. I must look up what this is to do with sends. I think groups and sends. You can you include your sends if you've got any reverb sends or any effect sends if you want to. If you go master groups and sends, then it basically includes the master in the sort of chain, if that makes sense. So if you've got an overall balance issue and you have adjusted the master, or you've got, for example, I don't know, a little bit of glue compression or reverb or something on the master bus, it will include that as well. And for how I work, that's how I need to go. And it took me a little bit of time to work out that I didn't need to be on inserts and strip, because when you're on single, that's all you get. But when you multiple, you get the choice, obviously. I do need to be on that. After export, well, I think we'll do, oh, do you know, I didn't realise it did that. I've always had generally have do nothing. Create new project is quite interesting. I'm not going to try it now, but I always put these into a new project manually, but I'm assuming that will just do it for me. I'll check that out at some point. Okay, so I'm going to do my strings short. I've named it properly up here, or it's naming it for me. I started doing it by putting strings here as well. So I ended up with something that said planting out strings short, strings short. It got very, very confusing. But we don't need to do that. I would just literally add it to the queue. And there we go. It will do that. Now, again, another thing, you must untick that one and then go on to strings long, add it to the queue, untick it, go to the keys, add to queue, untick it, go to percussion, add to queue, untick it, go to guitars, add to queue. And then I'm going to go for real-time export. Obviously, you don't have to, but that's what I do. You just do queue export, and you just leave it. It's glorious. You just leave it for 10, 15 minutes. It does its own merry little thing. I've had no problems doing other stuff on the computer at the same time, going for a cup of tea, putting my feet up for a minute, doing some other jobs. It's absolutely wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to press Start Queue Export here and come back in a moment and show you what I do next. Okay, so I've opened a new project here. And I've put in here the full mix and the group stems here. And all I'm going to do just to check this is literally to play through and solo between the full mix and the stems and make sure they sound the same. Okay, and I can hear that they are identical. So this basically is, I suppose, a belt and braces double safety check to make sure that I've got the levels right, everything's in sync. What I generally do with a little piece like this, where there's only sort of 4 very simple stems, is actually do the cut downs and things from audio like this, probably at another time. And during that time, I would listen through to the whole of the what will be the sort of master full mix to make sure there's no errors in it. And then by default, as I'm doing the cut downs, the 30, the 60 and the 15, I'll listen to the relevant bits in the stems that I'll make those from, which sort of double checks those as well. So it's a quality control issue. It only takes a few seconds to really do. Okay, well, I hope that's been really useful. Leave some comments. I'd really like to hear if you think there's anything I should have added or I got mixed up with, or you've got anything, any other great ideas on this sort of subject. It'd be good to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.